What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Solomon's Treasury. We are glad to have you here. Today, we are not beating around the bush. We are diving straight into the deep end. You've heard the whispers at parties. You've seen the comments all over social media. You've probably heard the stereotypes your entire life. Jewish people run the banks, or Jewish people are just naturally good at business. Now, usually, when people say this online, they whisper it like it's a bad thing, like it's some sort of secret conspiracy against the world. But here at Solomon's Treasury, instead of getting defensive or crying about it or calling this anti-Semitism, we are going to do something different. We are going to double down. We are going to look you dead in the eye and say, heck yeah, we are. We are good at business, and we should be. Let us teach you some of the secrets that have been accumulated, not over 10 years, not over 100 years, but over the past 3,000 years. This isn't magic, folks, it's a system. And this being one of the biggest and baddest secrets in the vault, you are going to want to stay until the very, very end of this video. Why? Because that is when the puzzle pieces fit together, and you're going to realize how you can apply this to your family, your community, and your bank account. Let's talk about the why before we get to the how. A lot of people think the pursuit of money comes from greed. That is the lazy explanation. Let us give you the real explanation. It is insanely expensive to be a Jew. We're talking drain your bank account expensive. Let's break it down properly. In the Orthodox world, having a large family isn't just common, it's a blessing. It is very normal to see families with 5, 6, or even 10 children. Now do the math on that. We send our kids to private schools because religious education is non-negotiable. We aren't paying a couple of $100. We are talking tens of thousands of dollars per child per year. Multiply that by 5 or 6 kids. Then let's talk about food. Kosher food costs way more than regular food. A pound of kosher meat, it's double, sometimes triple the price of what you find at the regular supermarket. Then we need to live within walking distance of the synagogue because we don't drive on the Sabbath. That means we have to live in specific neighborhoods. And guess what happens to real estate prices in those areas? They skyrocket. So the community doesn't make money just to hoard it. We make money because the lifestyle demands it. We need to be successful just to keep the lights on and keep the institutions running. So, rule number 1, we gravitate towards businesses that are high margin and lucrative by necessity. But here is the catch, and this is a massive one. It's not just about making money, it's about how the money is made. In this tradition, business isn't just a transaction, it's a reflection of values. It has to be moral, it has to be clean. You can search far and wide, look at every city in America, and we can almost guarantee you this. You will rarely, if ever, find an Orthodox Jewish man running a strip club. You won't find the community running predatory gambling rings. Yes, those businesses make a boatload of cash. They are cash cows. But are they moral? No. Do they improve the world? No. We stay away from the dirty money. The focus is on businesses that provide value, that build things like real estate, finance, law, healthcare, and manufacturing. We are looking for sustainable, ethical wealth that anyone would be proud to talk about at the dinner table. Hey, if this is your first time discovering the channel and you want to unlock more ancient secrets of wealth that have stood the test of time, do yourself a favor. Hit that follow or subscribe button right now. Leave a like so we can stay connected. Now let's jump into how the system actually works. All right, grab your notebooks. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. We want to explain this concept of the circular economy with a real-world example that happens every single day in New York, London, Tel Aviv, and Miami. Let's talk about real estate, one of the core businesses the community is famous for. Imagine a Jewish investor. Let's call him David. David is a hustler. He's been looking for a property for months. Finally, he finds a monster deal. Let's say it's a 200-unit apartment complex. It's a heavy lift. It's run down. Tenants are unhappy. The roof is leaking. But David has vision. He sees what it could be. Now pause. Where did David find this deal? Most likely it didn't just pop up on a public website where everyone else is looking. It probably came from a Jewish broker he knows, or maybe a tip from a friend at a Shabbat dinner last Friday night. Hey David, I know a guy selling a building on 3rd Avenue. The deal flow starts within the community because information travels fastest when there is trust between the people talking. He gets the first look before the general market even knows it's for sale. So David secures the contract. He's excited, but now he has a problem. He needs $10 million to close this thing. He doesn't have $10 million sitting in his checking account. So what does he do? Does he panic? No. Does he walk into a random mega bank branch where he's just a number, filling out forms for a stranger? No way. The first logical person he picks up the phone to call is a friend. He calls a contact who is in finance. Maybe it's a guy who runs a private equity fund. Maybe it's a mortgage broker he sees at synagogue every single morning. He calls him and says, "Listen, I got a deal. It's solid. I need funding." Why does he do this? Because speed creates wealth. He calls the guy he prays with because there is zero friction. He doesn't have to explain his life story. He doesn't have to prove he's a real person. The lender knows David, knows his family name, knows his work ethic. They cut through the red tape in minutes, not months. This is the part that outsiders don't understand. The lender approves the money, not just because the numbers on the Excel spreadsheet make sense, though they have to make sense, but because of the social contract. The lender knows that if spit hits the fan, if the market crashes, if things go wrong, he knows exactly where David sits in the synagogue. He knows where David lives. He knows who David's rabbi is. There is a layer of accountability there that a credit score or a background check can't capture. David isn't going to run away to an island with the money because his entire life, his community, his reputation, it's all right here in the neighborhood. That safety net allows deals to happen faster, bigger, and with more confidence than in the outside world. It's the ultimate risk mitigation. We have a question for you. Have you ever tried to do business with a close friend? Be honest. Did it ruin the relationship or did it make the business stronger? We see mixed stories all the time. Let us know in the comments below. Okay, moving down the chain. David bought the building. He got the loan from his contact in the community. Now the real work begins. This 200-unit building needs serious love. It needs snow removal in the winter. It needs cleaning crews for the hallways. It needs a massive renovation. We're talking new kitchens, new flooring, plumbing work, electrical work. That is a lot of cash flow going out. Millions of dollars are about to be spent on services. So who does David hire? Does he just open a search engine and pick the cheapest random option with a 3-star rating? Absolutely not. He looks at the community directory. He looks for a Jewish-owned construction company. He looks for a Jewish-owned plumbing supply distributor. He hires these people for 2 main reasons. First, yes, the goal is to help the brothers out. If he's going to spend $500,000 on renovations, the preference is that the profit goes to someone who shares the same values, someone who might be struggling, someone in the circle. It's about strengthening the tribe. But secondly, and this is just good business, he hires the Jewish construction company because they speak the same language. And we don't just mean English or Hebrew, we mean cultural language. They understand the calendar. He doesn't have to explain to the contractor why the job site is closed early on Fridays for Shabbat. He doesn't have to explain why they can't work on holidays. They just get it. It streamlines the entire operation. There is less friction, less miscommunication, and fewer headaches. But wait, it goes deeper. This is where the circular economy really starts to spin. Let's look at that construction company David just hired. That construction company isn't an island. They have needs too. That construction company needs accounting services. They need a marketing agency to get more leads. They need office space to run their operations. So what do? The construction boss hires a Jewish accountant to do his taxes. He hires a Jewish lawyer to draft his contracts. He rents his office space from another member of the community who owns a commercial building right next to the synagogue. Do you see what is happening here? The same dollar isn't just being spent once and disappearing into the abyss of a massive corporation. That dollar is bouncing around like a pinball inside the same ecosystem. David pays the contractor pays the lawyer pays the landlord buys food from the kosher grocer. That single dollar creates profit for 5, 6, 7 different families before it ever leaves the circle. That is how wealth is built. Think about the last 5 things you spent significant money on, maybe a car repair, a home renovation, or legal fees. Do you have any idea who owns those companies? Would you prefer to buy from your neighbors if you could? Drop a yes or no in the comments. Let's pause for a second and talk about the glue holding this entire machine together. That glue is trust. In the secular business world, contracts are 50 pages thick. Why? Because nobody trusts anybody. Everyone is expecting to get cheated. Lawyers spend weeks fighting over every comma because lawsuits are common and everyone is watching their back. In this circular economy, trust is the actual currency. Deals operate on a handshake often before the paperwork is even dry. Let's say David orders $10,000 worth of supplies from a neighbor's company. The supplies show up and they are faulty. They're broken. In a normal business relationship, this could turn into a screaming match, a lawsuit, or a burnt bridge. But here, it rarely goes to secular court. Why? Because the supplier is embarrassed. He sees David at school drop-off every morning. He sees him at the kosher deli. He isn't going to cheat David because the social cost is too high. His reputation would be ruined in the community. If they have a real dispute that they can't solve, they don't go to a judge who doesn't know them. They might go to a din Torah, a sit-down with their rabbis or community mediators. They sort it out internally, fairly and quickly. This lowers the risk of doing business. And in business, risk is expensive. When you lower risk, you increase speed. And when you increase speed, you increase profit. It's that simple. Another huge advantage is that the community tends to think the same. And we don't mean everyone is a robot, but values are shared. If you have ever been on a board or a committee with people from vastly different backgrounds, you know how hard it can be. It's beautiful to have diversity, but it can make decision-making slow. Everyone has different priorities and views the world through a completely different lens. In the Jewish circular economy, there is a shorthand. Priorities are aligned: family stability, education, charity, and community safety. When negotiating a deal with someone who has the exact same life priorities, there is no need to argue about the why. You just figure out the how. Deals get done in half the time because the end goal is the same for both parties. This is a bit of a hot take, but we want your opinion. Do you think it's better to do business with people who think exactly like you, or does diversity of thought make a business more profitable? There are pros and cons to both. Let's discuss it below. If you strip away the real estate, the finance, and the money talk, it really comes down to this core belief. The community views itself as a family. A really, really big, sometimes loud family. And what do you do for family? You want them to win. It makes sense that you should want to give the business to your brother, your cousin, or your uncle before you give it to a stranger. Judaism teaches that we are responsible for one another. We see a lot of other communities where neighbors are viewed as competition. There is a crab in a bucket mentality. They think, if he succeeds, that makes me look small. If he gets rich, there's less money for me. Nen, this script is flipped entirely here. The thought process is, if he succeeds, that's better for all of us. This is what is called the abundance mindset. We don't believe the pie is fixed. We believe we can bake more pies. Think about it. If a friend who is a construction worker gets a massive contract, he's going to make money. He's going to upgrade his house. And who is he going to hire? Probably an architect in the community. He's going to buy a new car for his wife. Maybe he buys it from a dealer in the community. His success ripples outward. We don't get jealous, we get motivated. And we know that eventually that money flows back to us or our institutions. We benefit from the trickle-down effect immediately. The Jewish circular economy is not a closed door, it's a ladder. The person at the top has an obligation to reach down. When a young person starts a business in the community, the older, successful business owners don't try to crush them. They often mentor them. They become their first customers. They give advice. Why? Because 20 years ago, someone did the same for them. It is a cycle of mentorship and support. We climb up, we reach down, we grab your hand, and we pull you up to the rung next to us. Then we both reach down for the next person. Strong allies are worth way more than defeated competitors. Be honest. When you see a neighbor get a brand new luxury car or build a huge addition to their house, is your first instinct jealousy, or are you genuinely happy for them? There's no wrong answer, it's human nature. But let's talk about it. Now, for those who stayed until the end, here is the payoff. This is the piece that makes the whole system holy. You might ask, why is it fair? Why is it okay to just keep money amongst the community? Here is the secret sauce. Tithing. In Hebrew, it is called Maaser. In Judaism, there is an obligation to give at least 10% of earnings to charity. But honestly, most successful people give way more than 10%. They give 20%. Some give even more. And where does that money go? It goes to local schools, food banks, disability centers, synagogues, and hospitals. So check this out. This is where the circle closes. Remember David with the real estate and his friend with the construction company. When they make a massive profit because the community gave them business, they take a big chunk of that profit and they donate it. They donate it to the school, the same school everyone's kids attend. So when a neighbor gets rich, the local kids get a new gymnasium. They get new computers. The community gets a better ambulance service. The local food bank gets fully stocked. We want to push business to people in the community because we know that their success is taxed, voluntarily taxed, for the benefit of the public good. If business is given to a mega corporation, that profit goes to Wall Street shareholders. If it is given to a neighbor, it buys new books for the library down the street. It's a selfishly selfless act. Here is the bottom line, friends. This is not unique to Jewish people. There is no monopoly on this. It's not some special genetic code. It is a cultural blueprint that anyone can use. We don't care what race you are. We don't care if you are Christian, Muslim, Hindu, or atheist. We don't care where you live. You can establish a circular economy right now. Start building trust. Start doing business with your neighbors. Support your local friends' small businesses instead of giant online retailers. Demand morality in your deals. And most importantly, share your success with your community charities. If you do this, if you build this trust and this flow of money, you stop just surviving. You start thriving. You start building generational wealth that lasts. We hope this brought you massive value today. We hope it opened your eyes to a different way of thinking about money and community. If it did, you know what to do. Smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe to Solomon's Treasury and hit the bell notification so you're the first to know when we open the vault again. And please share this video with a friend or a business partner who needs to hear this message. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us. God bless, have a great day, and we look forward to seeing your success.